There
So
was
yeah.
a point where, like, I mean, every time we were at a pub and we had to move on to somewhere else, I'd stand up and go, "Come on, kids!" Um, much to the annoyance of everybody around me, I should imagine. But that's my job.
Hey everybody out there, welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's Andy, it's John, and it's time to dig into some music. There he is over there, as if he were hiding. John, what are you going to have me go off and listen to today, buddy?
So I've got a band by the name of the Boo Radleys.
Oh man, To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay. And the name of I've heard of the Boo Radleys, I should say. I don't know any of their stuff. I've heard that name before outside of, literature. What's the name of the track?
Come on, kids.
Right. Okay, gotcha. Come on, kids.
That's an angry, what would you call it in your country? Crossing warden. Come on, kids.
Yes, crossing warden. No, crossing guard is what we call them. I like
Crossing
crossing
guard.
warden
Right.
better though. It's got more
Yeah,
heft.
yeah. Fair enough.
We're gonna put in a petition with the city of Baltimore to get those titles changed. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me go off and listen to this, and I'll come back and let you know what I think. This is a really weird start. I'm gonna take it back already, but it sounded like some ominous sound for a second, then just commotion, and then like a shush that was akin to someone opening a bottle of Sprite or 7 Up or something. Interesting. And then wah like stuff. I don't know. This is a lot. Interesting. It's going all over the place very early on. Let's take it back and experience it again. Okay, some notes. Vocal delivery, come on, it just sounded so much like just quintessential Brit pop to me. The other stuff though was so dense. I mean, once the song finally found its way to starting proper, which is, I mean, it's cool that they went the route they did and kind of played around with sounds until it all kind of blossomed into this like searing guitar with the beat hitting and that rolling bass underneath of it. This guitars are just sonic laser beams shot all over the goddamn place. And then that just, come on, kids. Yeah, just apologies to anybody out there listening on headphones. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I can't believe I'm doing it again, but I'm taking it back. Um, that should do. But yeah, I want to kind of relive that again. A lot of energy and just thick richness to the once everything kicked off to the production there was just a lot. that was an interesting bit of lyrics. Fuck the ones who tell you that life is merely a time before dying, I think is what they said there. Yeah, fuck them. Uh, no, I dig that sentiment. I'm not catching many of the lyrics, and I was lucky to catch that. I also like this part that they're about to go into again, where it's like almost this like I don't know if it's the singer's falsetto, but it sounds like it's an airier, more falsetto-y bit, and the guitars kind of fall back a little bit to let the vocals shine during this portion. Yeah, lot of energy to this one. I could see this being a crowd pleaser at a live gig for sure. Oh. Yeah. What a bunch of commotion. No, that was awesome. I mean, you couldn't have that bit where he's vocalizing and screaming and all that stuff without it like kicking off right at like this apex moment. And it did. So yeah, that got that bit of like, yeah, I knew it was going there, and I'm glad that it did. Sounded awesome. Yeah, this was really dense, man. A lot of sound going on. They really must have like pulled out all the tricks when it came to like mixing this and producing it to give it that thick sound. I don't know if that sort of noodly bit at the end that was happening was synth or just like a guitar again that kind of had like the kitchen sink thrown at it with effects and shit like that. I thought for sure I heard like two guitars at portions during portions of the song. Um, but when the song is so dense, um, it's sometimes hard to like sift through in just one listen and pick out exactly what you're hearing and diagnose every bit of sound. This song had a lot of that going on, but I loved the energy. It had this sort of like, I don't know, rebellious nature to it, but also like this call to arms to the kids, like, come on, kids. And this idea of like, I don't know, I caught very few lyrics in this. A couple bits stood out to me here and there, but it did have kind of this like, live your life while you're here, enjoy each moment, don't fall into the trap of monotony. I could be totally off, but that's the vibe I got. It definitely had that raucous energy to it for sure. Um, Heard the name the Boo Radley before, not just in literature. And I'd be interested to learn more about them. I'm sure John is going to throw some stuff at me. This is the first time we've discuss them. So yeah, my interest is piqued. I really enjoyed the electric energy to this. I wonder if it's like indicative of their sound as a whole, if it's all got this kind of, you know, energetic, raucous quality to it, or if, it varies from maybe album to album or track to track. But I will learn all of that and I'm sure more by getting back to John. So let's do just that.
Leamington Spa, he's back. So I listened to "Come On Kids" by the Boo Radleys.
Mhm.
Um, what are your thoughts?
Well, the song opens with what sounds like a little bit of like musical tinkering, but it's so brief. Then we're introduced to just general commotion, sort of like, just background sound and in a
Hubbub.
in a crowded area. Yes, a hubbub. Let's go with that. And then a which it was so robust it was akin to putting your ear next to a bottle of Sprite being opened for the first time. A lot of carbonated beverage energy to that um, and this is followed by this wah-like effect, the wah wah wah, on like the keys or the synthesizer. I don't know. It's so, all the music is so thick and dense in this track. It was really hard to like cut through and listen and pay attention. It would require multiple listens. Um, it's it's accessible and almost formulaic in its structure, but what they do in those portions is not, I don't know, it's not as formulaic. I mean, the structure of it is, but the music is not, in an interesting turn of events. So it's very thick. You got to comb through it to find what you're looking for. And I only gave this one listen, so if I'm off a little bit on instruments or the sounds that I think I'm picking up on, that would come as no surprise to me at all. But yet that something does sound like it's affected by this wah-like sound. And there's also, if I'm not mistaken, some like choral vocalizing with some ascending notes. Um,
I think it's gone through what do they call that thing? The vocoder or something like that. It's like that, isn't it?
okay, okay. Is
You
that
know,
what?
which goes. So it sounds like when people speak through that sort of ventilator type thing. I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah.
comes out almost like an organy type sound from their own
Hmm.
voice. I think
Hmm.
it's one of those that, and as you say, this ends.
Okay, like a talk box or something like
Yeah,
that, like
yeah.
on a guitar. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Yes, and it does ascend, and then there's this emphatic "come on kids" that we get, which checks out given the name of the track. um that is followed by some edgy sounding guitar, and by I don't mean the member of U2, I mean the actual, it's got edge to it. And then in comes the rest of the band. As the beat drops, you get some great rolling bass in there, and the searing guitar that comes in, and it sounds fabulous. The singer begins, and there is some attitude to his vocal delivery that actually pairs pretty well with the energy and vibe of the music that they've built to this point. But around the 115 mark, the song shifts a little bit for a moment, with the guitars kind of falling back. And then we get this higher registered vocal that are, I don't know, like we've talked about before. I don't know if this is his falsetto or just the top of his range, but it's quite airy. And for a moment, I wasn't sure, actually, the first time I heard it, if it was like the first time I heard this portion, if it was a male or female vocalist, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm only catching bits and pieces of the lyrics, but I believe I heard some reference to the sun always shines outside your window, and then fuck the ones who tell you that life is merely or nearly a time before dying, something to that effect. But either way, I agree with those sentiments. Um, and then we get this is followed up by more of that bit with the higher registered airy vocals. I believe this bit is the chorus, as it is punctuated with the title of the track. And this gives way to more of that like lead work that was teased earlier in the track on the guitar. And the guitar strings bend and whine and careen a bit before the vocalist joins again, uh, and repeats that bit about life is a time before dying and fuck those who say it or whatever. This is followed by a chorus and plenty of come-ons, and some wild vocalizing by your man. And it's really musically dense, this portion, but it's also kind of predictable in that they're kind of building things up for it to kick off. And that's exactly what's happening here. It's topped off with this "come on, kids," and more of this rabid guitar work winding around that is really interesting. It has this really interesting like phasing or laser light like aspect to it, the sound. And I'm wondering if that has to be from a synth or something, and eventually um the song a bit reluctantly screeches to its completion. There's a lot of energy in this and such a thick stew of sound production on this track. I admire the energy and the attitude of it. The bits of the lyrics, those bits of lyrics that I did catch, seem to be encouraging folks to live their life for each moment and to not become complacent with just existing and getting by. I may be completely off. That might not at all be the message they're sending, but from the little bit that I could extrapolate, that's kind of the vibe I got. Um, Perhaps I'm wrong there, but even if I'm in the ballpark, then I agree with the sentiment and this youthful energy kind of behind it. And yeah, who doesn't like a good loud song every now and again? For the interest of transparency and fairness, I was mentioning this to John before we got underway here, and he had me listen to Nick Drake Fruit Tree and then this. And I got to tell you, this jarred me back to life. Not that, like, Nick Drake put me to sleep, but he put me in a mood. He put me in a way. And then this came on and it was, come on, kids. I'm like, all right, I better knock off all that melancholy and get back to the real world. So yeah, it was quite a jolt of electricity. Not that it wouldn't have been had I not heard it right after a very soft, moody Nick Drake song, but nonetheless, it has this energy in spades, and I really appreciated that aspect of the song for sure.
Well, yeah, yeah. It's an interesting song, and within context of their previous hit, um, it's a real contrast. I've just always liked that guitar work and the vocal screeching. Come on, kids!
I really loved his vocals when he was edging up to that like climax
Yeah.
part. He's doing all this vocalizing and like kind of hollering almost. It was, it was getting me into it, and then it kicked off. I was like, yeah.
There
So
was
yeah.
a point where, like, I mean, every time we were at a pub and we had to move on to somewhere else, I'd stand up and go, "Come on, kids!" Much to the annoyance of everybody around me, I should imagine. But that's my job. So Boo Radleys. It's interesting doing the. I didn't, I knew them, but I didn't really know the ins and outs of them. I, for some reason, always thought they were Irish. I don't know why, but I just did, and they're not. So they're an English alternative rock band who were associated with the shoegazing and then Britpop movements in the 1990s.
I was gonna say when right when he starts that verse, the first verse, and I really I was like, this is the most Brit pop sounding delivery I've ever heard. I don't know what it is about that bit, but it just took me to Brit pop, sort of in that '90s time.
More on that in a little bit. So they originally formed in Wallasey, which is in Merseyside, below Liverpool, England, in 1988. The name, of course, is taken from the character Boo Radley from Harper Lee's 1960 novel To Kill a Mockingbird.
Mm-hmm.
Personnel: Simon Sice, Rowbottom, vocals and occasionally guitar. Rob Seeker, drums. Tim Brown, bass and keyboards, and Martin Carr, guitar. It's nice when their names rhyme with their instruments. Um, in 1990, the band's first album, Ichabod and I, was released on a very small indie label, Action Records. Did all right, good critical sort of return on it as well, and it brought them to the attention of Rough Trade Records, to whom they signed, very famous label. They released, I think, it was one EP, and then in 1991, Rough Trade collapsed. The Boo Radleys were signed by Anne McGee's Creation Records. And this produced the albums Everything's All Right Forever in 92 and Giant Steps in 93. Giant Steps was placed second to the album debut by Björk in 1993's Enemy Album of the Year list, which was voted by the paper's editorial team. although it came first in the subsequent Readers' poll. Select magazine declared Giant Steps their album of the year for 93 as well. So despite critical acclaim and a cult fan base, the Boo Radleys were still largely unknown to the general great unwashed by the time the Britpop phenomenon broke into the mainstream in 95. This changed, however, when the band released the upbeat single Wake Up Boo. It made number 9 in the UK singles charts, and it remained on the charts for 2 months. And I don't know if you've heard this. It's Wake Up, It's a Beautiful Morning, Sunshine. You may not have heard it. It's very sort of very upbeat, and people love it. And then you get this. Not quite the same. So Carr said that they wrote that song Wake Up Boo while watching a TV show called The Big Breakfast, which was a sort of alternative breakfast show in the morning, after a night they had spent on acid. Their fourth album, Wake Up, which featured Wake Up Boo, was their commercial peak, and it topped the UK album charts. Interviewed later in 2005 by the BBC, Carr said, I tried to have nothing to do with what was being called Britpop. Our whole career was spent trying not to fit in. We just carried on doing what we've been doing. I didn't like most of the new bands or the flag waving. I didn't like New Labour or idolise Paul Weller. And I hated media-generated movements within music. So he's not quite on board yet. The track, this track is taken from the title song from the same album, their fifth album, which was released in 1996. The album is considered to be purposely difficult and uncommercial. The band was said to have wanted to distance themselves from the commercial image they had cultivated because of the unexpected success of the album Wake Up and their top 10 hit, Wake Up Boo. However, apparently this was perhaps not the intention of the band, as explained by Seiss in an interview also in 2005. We didn't want to scare away the hit kids. We wanted to take them with us to somewhere that we'd not been before. All we wanted to do was make a different type of album than Wake Up. All we wanted to do was try something new, to keep ourselves fresh and interested. We were very surprised to find out that it had been seen as a deliberate attempt to scare away newly created fans. That would have been an extremely foolish thing to do. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. I think they did, for definite. But there you go. So the album itself, Come On Kids, was less successful than its predecessor. It reached number 20 in the UK albums charts. And this single, Come On Kids, hit number 18. It was their second and last top 20 hit in the UK. Journalist David Kavanagh wrote that they lost 100,000 fans with the album and returned to being a cult band. Come On Kids is the all-time favourite album of Tom White from the Electric Soft Parade. And according to Martin Sainsbury of Drowned in Sound, Nicky Wire from Manic Street Preachers listened to little else than this album for a whole year. And also, apparently, Radiohead went back to the drawing board when they heard it during the OK Computer sessions, believe it or not. So there you go. We'll go into the lyrics.
Hey, John, real quick, was there anything about their possible affinity for literature or American literature? I mean, this allusion to Harper Lee's Boo Radley, but also Washington Irving's
Ichabod
in Sleepy Hollow. It's just interesting to me. But as a I'm not the world's biggest nerd, but I like to read. And I came up reading both those, so it's just interesting. It instantly jumped out at me. It's like, oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
I'm wondering if that's what subconsciously made me think they were Irish, because they're more literary nation.
Bookish, right?
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but there's something on that which I might come back to in a sec. So anyway, lyrics. Come on, kids. Come on, kids. Don't do yourself down. Throw your arms out for a new sound. This is kind of their, saying about, embracing something new. Pretty face, it don't mean a thing if you look the same as your crowd. I know, it's hard to do, but have we ever let you down? So come on, 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 come on. Work all day. It don't mean a thing with the sun always outside your window. Fuck the ones who tell you that life is merely a time before dying. I know, I know, I know, I know it's hard to do, but have we ever let you down? So come on, 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 kids! And then that guitar break, which is wonderful. And it comes back in. Look for the box and find what's inside. You'll never find it till you have done. And fuck the ones who tell you that life is merely a time before dying. I know, I know, I know, I know. It's hard to do, but have we ever let you down? Brace yourself. So, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, 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 kids! And then more guitar howls, and it
Right.
finishes.
You've convinced me. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Got to get going. Come on, the bus is waiting. So I think it's a little bit because the lead singer is bereft of hair. There's always something about this though that makes me think of Smashing Pumpkins. There's a little
Oh,
bit of that sound. There's a bit of that thickness to the
yeah.
guitar, and with him being bald as well. Yeah, it's probably that more than anything. But I just always associate this with a bit of Pumpkins influence to it.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I can see that, especially yeah, the denseness of the guitars and the
Yeah.
soundscape therein. Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, so Boo Radley's final album was 1998's King Size. One single was released from the album, and the title track was due to be released as the second single, but the band decided to split up. Sice later told Time Out magazine, "It was such a relief when Martin phoned me and said he didn't want to make any more records. We've been wanting it to stop for quite a long time, but I couldn't do it. I didn't want to leave. I wanted the band to end, and only Martin could have done that. There was always the fear that if I left, that they would just get another singer in, and I didn't want that. Never mind not having the heart to tour, I barely had the heart to go down to the studio while we were making King Size." That's a remarkable sort of insight, isn't it? Um, Interesting enough, in 2020, it was reported some 22 years after they split, that some members of the Boo Radleys were coming together to record new music to mark their 25-year anniversary since the band's heyday. And sure enough, in 2021, the band released their first new single in 23 years, called A Full Syringe and Memories of You, part of an EP of the same name. Upon the single's release, it was confirmed that the original guitarist Martin Carr, he plays guitar, just like Johnny Marr, had not taken part in the reunion. So there you go. And I think they're still stumbling around and doing stuff. So the band's seventh studio album, Keep On With Falling, Freudian slip there, Keep On With Falling, was released in 2022. And their eighth album, titled imaginatively 8, was released in 2023. So yeah, they're still knocking around and doing stuff, and good luck to them.
All right, cool. No, I enjoyed giving this a listen. I can't help but notice that I mean they may have wanted to get away from Britpop, and the music didn't sound so much. Yeah, I still saw shades of it and caught shades of it when I listened to this track, but it was I really did enjoy it, and I would want to go back and listen to it because of how thick and dense the music soundscape was, how this was mixed and produced, to just kind of try to pick through it and hear certain things, especially now that you've kind of shed some light on them. So good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's like a lot of things. It's quite nice to have a shot of something every now and again. You wouldn't have this with your toast every morning for
No,
breakfast.
no,
But is that when you feel like you need a bit of a shot of something, then this is an excellent little pick me up, as I
absolutely.
say. Excellent. All right, I shall wrap things up. Thank you so much for listening to this.
Thank you.
Folks out there, tell us what you think. I'm sure that much of you who are familiar with Boo Radleys will recommend their first two albums. Please do, and tracks thereof. I'm not particularly fond of Wake Up Boo, to be honest with you. I think it's fairly pap. But there may be fans out there who love it to bits and reminds them of their first children or God knows whatever. So please drop comments and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And you can wake up to our dulcet tones every morning.
Yikes.
Yeah. That being said, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.
Come on, kids!